welcome to the EY Championship Final on this Big BUCS Wednesday, powered by New Balance. We welcome two big hitters in the University of Hertfordshire, the reigning BUCS champions, and they will go up against the University of Birmingham, a replay of the 2019 BUCS final, and this is going to be a corker. Thank you to all those of you joining us on the live stream. Stay with us, it's going to be an incredible battle, and after a 2-year hiatus due to COVID, we look forward to returning the sport with the support of both EY and New Balance as our key partners. Sit back, enjoy the ride, this is going to be a good one. Wes, welcome to your first, as a coach, your first time in the EY Championship final. What's the changing room like? What's the atmosphere like? How are your team?
The changing rooms is actually really quite relaxed at the moment. They are obviously nerves about, and we're trying to channel those nerves in a positive way. They are very excited. For some, it's their first, and for some, it will be their last. So I'm sure either way, there's going to be lots of tears at the end of the game. But you know what? They're in good spirits. They're a fantastic team. They're great friends, and I think that will stand them in good stead for today.
And many might not realise that whilst you weren't the coach of this side back in 2019, this is a replay of that final where you just fell short against this University of Herts side. Both teams know each other well, both coaches know each other well. So what's going to be that point of difference where you think you could really hurt this University of Hertfordshire team?
I think I've said to our girls, play to our strengths and try not to expose each other's weaknesses, but maybe we can expose theirs somewhat. We've got some great players that can turn the ball and turn it early, and I think for us that is actually going to be key, and keeping possession of the ball. So we sort of had a chat about what our strengths are and play into those, and I think again if they can stick to that, stay in the moment, I think that's going to be key for us.
And you've got a team full of talent, you know, so many that we either are used to seeing in the Vitality Super League or are coming up through those WAFS Academy environments. So who should we be looking out for today? Who are you expecting to step up under the bright lights?
I think for me, stepping up will be Ruth Hughes. She's playing centre for us. She's been an absolute standout for us. Goes about her business really calmly, can turn the ball as a centre, and put some great balls into Kat, our shooter, and also Kate Henshaw at goal defence. Her range is exceptional, and I think again if she can actually get her arms up over the ball, that will put some pressure on those feeds into the shooters for us, and again gives us opportunity to turn the ball over nice and early.
And look, both teams are definitely on the hunt for that big W, and the scoreboard will decide that at the end of the game. But if there were any other things that would make you feel fulfilled at the end of this game by what you see from your team, what other measures of success are you looking for today?
I think for us it will be putting out a good performance. We spoke a lot about players coming off the bench. We've got players that come off the bench and can change a game, make an impact. And I think just staying in the game, you know, not letting it get away from us, I think that's been key for us, and keeping possession. So that for us has been one of our targets, just making sure we stay in the game, you know, right up until the end, we keep running, we don't stop until that final whistle. That's been a key message for us going forward.
Both teams talking about lots of turnover. Look forward to it. Enjoy your time in a final.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mel Mansfield, University of Hertfordshire head coach, has been for a number of years. I think you said your 8th season off camera when we were just chatting. Your expectations of the team that you have today, because whilst you've been in the role a long time, the team evolves year on year, or not so much when you've been in your tenure because you managed to keep hold of them for a bit longer. But talk to us about the form of your team before arriving at this championship final today.
So unbeaten in Prem South, and really challenged once by Exeter, and pretty much that was it. So we weren't really tested until our semi-final against Loughborough, and all credit to them, they came down from a 6-goal deficit to win that game. So they have had some pressure recently. We've got some really experienced heads in our team, and we've got some where this will be probably their first time in front of a big crowd. So a real mix today.
And in terms of that semi-final, as you said, pushed all the way. I think you had some words of wisdom going into that final 15 minutes to try and motivate them to get here today, because It's so special at Big BUCS Wednesday. What were the key learnings from that game from a performance perspective? What do you want to see them do better today so they don't find themselves chasing again in that last 15?
I think defensively we didn't really come alive until that last 15 minutes, and suddenly they got the bit between their teeth. So we were slow to settle in defence and turn much over, and then turned 4 or 5 over in a row and really got some momentum in that last 15 minutes. So I'm expecting this to be a high scoring game just based on the shooters that both teams have got. I think it's going to be a question of which defensive units can work really hard, but I'm hoping the preparation of Loughborough and Cholhook has helped us a bit today against Catshort.
And in terms of your strengths, I mean, you've got talent across the court, as has the opposition in the University of Birmingham, but in terms of your own team, who are you looking, or who can we expect to see really step up under the bright lights of finals netball?
I think you're going to see Eliza Barkley shine today. I've had my eye on her all season. She's probably been our player of the match on most occasions. And then a little unsung hero is Mel Robinson, who plays for Wasps under 21s. You will be shocked by her work rate. She never stops running. You tell her to turn the ball over, she'll go. She's got a huge battery on her. So I think that there are going to be some surprises today from those two. Their work rate is exceptional.
And winning creates winning. Mel, this time in 2019, you came out with the win against the University of Birmingham. So is it just a case of do it again, and by how many, or do you see some big threats from the University of Birmingham this time around?
I know this team really well, and I know Wes obviously really well, and work with a lot of these players as extras in our senior training sessions. So they are strong throughout their court, actually, with some depth on the bench. So I think they're going to work really hard, this Birmingham team, and we've beaten them twice in a back-to-back final, and in our early trophy final in 2016. So never have they beaten us. So, and there's some final year students in there, and that's what BUCS is all about. I don't lose anyone this year. They're all staying. So, but I'm sure they're going to be really up for it today. So I'm expecting some big performances from them as well.
And Mel, you're a head coach in the Vitality Super League, as well as juggling being head coach of this team. Talk to us about what sets BUCS sport apart from all the other coaching experiences that you've had. What makes it special today for you?
Yeah, it's a very special and very close to my heart. I work at the university in another role as a lecturer, and it goes really nicely with the two. And we've got our academic registrar here and lots of senior staff. And for Hertfordshire, netball is one of our 5 performance sports. We only concentrate on 5. We just don't have the capacity at Hert, so we've gone for 5. We actually had a basketball final earlier. I think it's the first time that we've had 2 on Big BUCS Wednesday, and futsal have also made the final that's played on a separate day. So the 5 we are very good at, and that was always the aim, to be at the very best in those 5. In terms of UH, in my 8 seasons I did a little bit of a tot up, and we've got 18 alumni playing in the Vitality Super League right now. So that's testament itself to our programme, but also to university netball, and I think it shouldn't be underestimated. And this is the fun stuff. There's a lot of pressure for a lot of these players, and university netball is great fun. And in every game we play 1 or 2 Super League players in Prem, and we always use it as a bit of a project really to spot the superstar and learn how to get them out of the game. So that's what I'll be asking them to do in the first 5 minutes of this game, work out who the key players are.
And you're hot-footing it off to your team talk straight from this interview, so give us an insight. What's the last line of that team talk going to say?
That's a good question, Jess. Well, we actually prepared for this immediately after Loughborough, because I knew that we were all going to be pretty busy with MPL and NSL. So we did video and all of our prep last Wednesday, and then I've just seen them twice. So we haven't had a lot of court time together. All I need to tell this team is it's really worth winning and getting one of those t-shirts and a medal, and I know they'll give me everything. So they're really gritty, my team. Expect a gritty performance.
I'm on board already, Mel. You convinced me. Give me the dress. Really good luck for the match this afternoon, and brilliant in terms of your form and contribution to university sport.
Thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome to the David Ross Arena here in Nottingham. We are here for the EY Championship Netball Final for BUCS. It's a big Wednesday, and it definitely is a big Wednesday. There's so much sport been going on here, but right now we are here to watch University of Birmingham take on the University of Hertfordshire here in the championship final. I'm joined in commentary by Jet Thirlby, current England netball head coach, and she's going to run us through the starting lineups.
Thank you, Emma. So a repeat of that 2019 BUCS Grand Final where Hearts came out the winners. So starting with them at goal shooter, we have Giselle Allison. At goal attack, Melissa Robinson. At wing attack, Ellie Oswick. At centre, Courtney Ferns. Jada Braithwaite-Scott in at wing defence, Eliza Barkley at goal defence, and Oderi Atirani at goalkeeper. And looking at this University of Birmingham side, looking for maybe revenge for that last defeat. At goal shooter, we have Kat Short. Goal attack, Sophie Jackson. Wing attack, Jessie Ducker. Centre, Ruth Hughes. Wing defence, Harriet Sanderson. Goal defence, Kate Henshaw, and goalkeeper Charlotte Robinson. And we are up for a treat this evening.
Yes, you mentioned that these two teams met in the final in 2019. Last year there was no final, so this is going to be really exciting, I hope. Birmingham, you say they want revenge. Hertfordshire, they want to stamp their authority on this EY Championship title. So, any ideas from watching the warm-up, Jets, who you think might be dominant here?
Oh, well, I'm just going to be greedy and hope that it's just goal for goal. I like goal for goal games.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ignore somebody like Kat Shaw. I mean, what a handful she is going to be. We've seen her recently in the Vitality Super League with Celtic Dragons, and is towering over most of her own team. So interestingly, when I interviewed both head coaches, they spoke quite respectfully around their team's strength being to win balls. So it's going to be an interesting game. If they stand up to that, it will be the team that can win the ball but take it through the court. And obviously with both teams having strength in their shooting circles, Giselle Allison we've seen on our TV screens recently for Wasps in the Vitality Super League. So there is no shortage of talent across these teams, and expectedly so. You don't push your way into a championship final without great experience across your teams. And not just on the court, but to the side of the court in the coaching staff. Wes Blair and Mel Mansfield, both very experienced, working through either academies, Super League, and in particular for Mel, she's been in this position now with University of Hertfordshire for 8 seasons, getting a lot of success in that time. So it bodes well. It's a great way to spend a Wednesday evening.
It definitely is, and I think it shows that universities are putting a lot of money and support behind sport. So, as you say, Mel Mansfield has been with the University of Hertfordshire for 8 years. So, testament to them. She's been in the Super League for a long time too, so they want to make sure their netball is the top of its game. And when I was back at University of Hertfordshire weren't a team that you would recognise in terms of their netball, so they've done a good job there. But equally, Birmingham University, when I was at university, they were the team to beat, and they've gone through a lull. They've got Joan Hunter as the head coach, and she's been around, she's coached Birmingham on county teams of the 16 and age groups, and she's been coaching for a long time. And so I guess it is testament she's managed to get this Birmingham team back into the business of getting to finals. So we are here and ready for an exciting game.
Yeah, I remember being at a BUCS semi-final, or maybe it was a final at the old University of Birmingham, so courts looked very different then, such as in the investment into both the infrastructure of not just netball but university sport overall. And as we sit here in an impressive environment here at the David Ross, as you say, it is great to see university sport back and thriving.
And both of these teams have brought their crowds. They know it's the business end of the season. It's all to play for. So Birmingham University, they're here with their fan base. They've even brought their mascot. University of Hertfordshire, they've got their friends here too. I can see lots of purple flags waving as Birmingham get us underway for this final.
Yeah, the seats have filled up nicely for this championship final. Great support from everybody showing up. So important for netball that we keep doing that. Birmingham taking their time. Oh, Courtney Fearns making herself known early on, but ball just spilling into the hands of the red dresses of Birmingham. And here it looks like they will have, oh, and it's a turnover, so an offside. University of Hertfordshire with an early steal. Let's see how they manage their first opportunity. Both teams a bit reluctant to go forward with the ball, choosing instead to look laterally or back. Giselle Allison presenting nicely at the top of the circle.
And the first points on the board go to Hertfordshire against their centre parts.
Oh, good challenge by Birmingham on that centre pass defence. Kate Henshaw.
And now the confidence building. Quick ball in to Giselle Allison, and she shoots from range to put Hertfordshire 2 goals up to 0 off Birmingham. You mentioned Kat Short at the start and how she's performing in the Super League for the Celtic Dragons. We see her there taking a ball. How do you think she's going to impact the outcome of this game?
Yeah, you know, height alone isn't necessarily going to be the answer, so she will have to be serviced well by that Birmingham mid-court, but it's obviously going to come in handy. But it can be beaten. You know, height alone is no longer enough. Often is the case now that we see great connections defensively, but there's no escaping. It's, you know, a huge advantage if used well, and you rely so heavily then on the talent in your mid-court, which I'm sure Birmingham have in abundance here. What's quite nice to see is they're not tempted yet to look in too early. They're prepared to work the ball. They're using their goal defences and wing defences.
They are, and I think it's because of the threat of Audrey Eterine. She's menacing there, she's moving constantly and not letting up, so it's quite difficult to read the space that Kat Short has available. And Eterine and Buckley are going to have to do that against this Birmingham team if Hertfordshire are to be the victors.
So good early recovery here from the Birmingham side to draw level. 2 goals apiece. Oh, and there is the long feed. First one I think we've really seen. Good sign of confidence. And
it is
a nice reminder, I guess, to the University of Hearts that they will have to keep their eye on that ball coming in early.
Definitely. I think it's always interesting when you can score quickly if you have a tall shooter. So you don't want to leave them home alone just like Allison was left, but it's the ability to score quickly, so you might be down but actually it's easy for you to put points on the board, so Hertfordshire will definitely be mindful of that, but equally they have a menace at the other end in Allison.
Oh, a lovely turnover there. Audrey Eterine there. That was an important steal. And we speak a lot about the height of Kat Short, but do not underestimate the strength of Giselle Allison. She goes about her work quietly. I was really impressed with her last year in the Netball Super League.
Definitely, and Allison is actually a dual international representing Jamaica in netball and basketball, so we definitely see some of her athletic ability when she plays netball. She's good at holding, good at moving and dominating and commanding that space. Oh, just some bad hands there from both teams actually. So Hertfordshire lucky to retain possession after Melissa Robertson spilled the ball, but then Henshaw for Birmingham did the same.
Yeah, Melissa Robertson's had a few mishandles, not necessarily her fault, but just a sign that sometimes you just put a bit too much on balls early on in a game of importance like this. So just important that her teammates help her to settle so that she finds her rhythm, because if Birmingham are smart, they will start to smother Giselle Allison and ask bigger questions of the University of Hertfordshire goal attack. So just important they keep sharing the load. Oh, and unlucky there. Eliza Barkley was Mel Mansfield's pick, or one of, in the pre-match interview as to who to look out for. And I got to see her train with Hertfordshire Mavericks just a week or so ago, and she was certainly making a nuisance of herself, using her range incredibly well. And definitely has the ability to win ball from second stage, which I always think is a real bonus when you find players like that.
And it's interesting you say you got to see her train and for Hertfordshire Mavericks. So as the England coach, do you go around the country looking at players in training, not just watching Super League matches? And then also, do you have an opportunity, enough time on your hands to see any university netball?
Yeah, so it's certainly something that we're really keen and passionate about, strengthening the relationships with all of our Vitality Netball Super League clubs. You know, they play a huge part in the development of all the players, not just those in current races.
Oh, incredible there.
What I'm saying is boring in comparison.
We do.
Celebrate the turnover.
Aterine just reading the ball really well. So Birmingham are going to have to be careful. I think they're used to throwing long ball to catch short, but actually at the moment Aterine has the measure of her, so they're going to have to be mindful of that. But as you were saying, in terms of strengthening the relationships with franchises.
Yes, you know, both of us have the players at the heart of everything we do. We want them all to be as successful as possible, and the clubs are doing a huge amount of work in supporting their development. So with big tournaments, both Commonwealth Games and World Cup in the next 2 years, it's important that we're not completely hands off and eyes off for a 5-6 month period. So the clubs have been great, very welcoming, just to allow me to be in and around that training environment. It's there. I do it to support the players, to make sure our messages are aligned, but to be really respectful of the brand of netball they're being asked to play within their club environments. And then it helps me to help with the transition back into Rose's camp with only a few weeks ahead of the Commonwealth Games. So yeah, really enjoying that, and very grateful to the clubs for allowing me to intrude a little bit. But it's been good fun. I've enjoyed it.
Well, we will get back to the Commonwealth Games shortly, but at the moment, both teams, it's almost as if they don't want to score goals. It's going up, down. I feel sorry for the mid-court, but at the moment, neither team able to retain possession. Maybe suffering a little bit from nerves, but I think with only 7 minutes left of the quarter, they would have settled by now, Jess.
Yeah, so the transition through this centre third, really key. What I have noticed, the teams are both playing back up court. And again, we've got another person literally sticking their hand up for player of the match in this opening 7 minutes.
Definitely. Odere Aterine, she's there. She's able to go back and up and handle the ball. She can read the ball and come out for a fly. So far, she is a headache in the Birmingham's brains.
Oh, such a shame that Birmingham was still able to get that goal in the end. I think she may have to demand a little bit more from her teammates to reward her efforts.
Oh, a good take there, teetering on the back line, but able to find her wing attack. Jessie Ducker regathers possession.
Oh, and I think you've hit the nail on the head, Amma, because that placement is most probably not the best. They're getting away with it just because of the few inches that she gives away, but yeah, great start by the University of Hertfordshire goalkeeper. Oh, and a lovely steal there. Kate Henshaw doing a job for her University of Birmingham side. A chance now to create a 2-goal gap if they can get it out of this centre third.
Oh, an unfortunate call there for Birmingham. Hughes being called for replaying the ball.
I just feel like they've got a lot of mid-quarters playing back up into that centre third, where I'd quite like to see them draw and drop out of that space, maybe allow their goal defences and wing defences to attack to the line a little bit more. It's becoming just a little bit predictable.
But in terms of that, Jets, what is the timing of that? Because how will the defenders know that they're not advancing forwards to receive the ball?
I just think sometimes when the ball is still quite deep, so I mean closer to that defending end, I think the use of the give and goes, making the most of your goalkeeper at the line, I think it's the intent to do that gives real clarity then to the role of that goal attack wing attack. And the goal attack wing attack sometimes creep forward just a bit too early, so sit back a bit deeper. If you're needed, you can still come on a strong drive, but if you're already stood in that space, you make it very easy to defend.
A good hold from Alison to take the score level, 8-all.
And we've got the goal for goal game that I wanted.
We have. I don't know if I have the energy for a goal for goal game right in the last seconds.
I do. Extra time?
I definitely don't have enough strength for that. Oh, and a break there for Hertfordshire. Wing attack, Elliot Strick's frustration, but they managed to win possession back, so their coach can't complain too much about that.
Oh, Melissa Broadbent, loving the energy. She may be small in stature, but what she's lacking in that, she is bringing energy in abundance.
She was. And was that a shot or a pass to Melissa?
Oh, it was definitely a shot. A shot, but well rebounded.
And Birmingham here just being patient, working the ball through. I've been impressed with their ability to work the ball round. You did mention they have Kat short, she's tall, and they could launch the ball to her off the first phase of centre parts, but they are being patient and building up their play.
Harriet Sanderson and the Birmingham defence doing an incredible amount of work there, really restricting the options to the ball, resulting in a 3-second call against the University of Hertfordshire. That's always worrying. 3-second calls are always a bit worrying, don't you think?
They definitely are, I think, because it's almost a testament to either indecisiveness from the player with the ball or the teammates not creating options and being available. And so it's a balance. I know in teams that I've played in, players are really hesitant about getting stats negatively against their name, and in certain teams I've played in, a hell ball has gone down against the ball carrier, but actually a lot of the time it's about the players around them not providing options that they believe are suitable for them to release the ball to. A desperation ball there from Robinson, but she easily finds Alison.
Yeah, mid-court a bit tight around the circle edge there, but they get away with it on this occasion, choosing to use that short offload. And no longer is that rule of a short pass, so some teams are really taking advantage of that.
Yeah, the lack of the short pass rule is really frustrating for me. I think as a defender, yeah, so it makes the game that bit difficult because attackers can almost pass the ball hand to hand. Previously, as you know, you used to have to be able to get a person between the players who are passing the ball, which allowed room for a defender's hand to get in there. But now, with the lack of short pass rule, it means that defenders struggle to get around and get into space to interject between passes between attackers.
University of Hertfordshire with the sideline.
Oh, brilliant deflection. Again, today has been a day of people on a 3 or 4 foot guard tipping or intercepting the ball. It's a really difficult skill to do successfully, so I'm impressed. I think that's the 3rd or 4th one I've seen today.
Yeah, I think Sanderson is certainly getting the upper hand there. An important goal there for the University of Hertfordshire just to draw closer, and it will be their centre pass, so
oh, still that goal for goal tie. 20 seconds to go until the end of play.
You know, the time on your screen is not accurate. We will count you down. About 10 seconds to go here. Hertfordshire looking intent on trying to score.
Oh, and they lose their centre parts and not much time left on the clock. Oh, and the clock ticks down to 0. So the first quarter concludes Birmingham 13, Hertfordshire 12. You wanted a goal-for-goal game, Jess, and they've delivered. So any reflections from you on that first quarter? Any team that you think is settled and has the momentum at the moment?
Yeah, it's interesting because on attack they're very different styles, aren't they? And I think the one that is a bit more kind of easier to watch, easier on the eye, let's say. I think the University of Hertfordshire have a little bit more structure. It's a bit more open in their attacking end third. I think Giselle Allison plays an important role in that because she's able to exit the circle with confidence and knows her craft. Down the other end, I think you've got a Birmingham team who have shown really good ball retention, but they are filling up that mid-third quite a lot and quite early. And for me, the biggest differences will be how Birmingham continue to improve their transition through that centre third. I don't think they can get away with hanging in there for too long. But also Hertfordshire have had so much turnover. I think both their circle defenders, Oderia Tyranny and also Eliza Barkley, have had hand on ball time and time again. So for them, I would be focusing on taking more of that through to a goal. And so when you're talking about a closely contested match like this, for me, those are maybe one or two areas that I think both teams could maybe extend their lead if they pay attention to it.
I completely agree, and there was a period there where neither team seemed able to score a goal and settle, and the ball went up and down. And I think you've mentioned it already, but I think the centre third and the centre players are actually going to be key in this game. So we know that the Birmingham attack are sharpshooters. They're able to shoot from range, and they can take the ball from a long range pass in. But equally, the Hertfordshire defenders, as you say, Atarine and Barkley, they're getting up there, they're causing havoc, and they're winning ball and gaining possession that is going to the other end. And again, the other end, we know that they've got incredible shooters. So I definitely believe, as you've said, it's a game that is going to be won or lost in the mid-court. So if Birmingham can sort out that flow, and I think it's mainly just about being confident in knowing the defenders are going to bring the ball through court. And you mentioned during the game that girl we can see there, Harriet Sanderson. She's been really strong defensively, but actually attacking wise, I think she's quite good at bringing the ball through court. So she needs to just have the space to be able to do that, and the confidence from her goal attack and wing attack to let her do it.
Absolutely, I think they're more than capable. And look, the reason why I'm focusing so much on Birmingham maybe addressing their mid-court, playing into that centre third, is because really you're playing into the hands of the University of Hertfordshire. You know, you've got a tall shooter, but all the remaining players are all in the centre third. There's no real threat to goal other than the long feed, and given the form of Atarini at the start of this game, you would back her every time on a long ball. So I think they just need to flip it a little bit, just be mindful of it. It's not a deal breaker. Obviously there's only one goal difference at the moment separating these sides, so we're really talking fine-tuning at this point and where some gains can be made. Great start by both sides.
Yep, final conversations as the teams huddle and hustle together to go into the next quarter.
Welcome the teams back on court. Make some noise for Birmingham and Hertfordshire.
So the scores currently: Birmingham 13, Hertfordshire 12. A very exciting quarter we just had. No changes for Birmingham. Hertfordshire have moved Fern from centre to wing attack, and Stevens has come on to centre, with Oswick taking to the bench.
Nice opening goal there for the University of Birmingham. They have been the team at the moment to have that slender lead. but the University of Hertfordshire have never really let it get any bigger than that 2-goal margin. And again, Harriet Sanderson, she definitely wants us to notice her this evening.
She does, and who wouldn't want the England netball head coach to notice them playing netball? I wonder if they'll give me a bib. I might get noticed.
Being noticed has never been an issue for you, Emma. Just for those at home that don't know, we do go a long way back, so we do like each other.
She says.
Emma used to stay at my house, but she's nocturnal, so she used to sleep all day and be awake all night.
I did. You did. Those were the days. A bit of a tussle there between a lot of players. Not much space available. Oh, and great defensive play on the circle by Stevens. She enters the game and has an immediate impact.
And this is going to be a really key turnover. Interesting to see Ferns not lacking the confidence. If needed, I will go long.
You know, I think we talked earlier about the 3-second rule and Giselle Allison unable to keep that ball in from the back line. Talking about the 3-second rule and the importance of players being available. When you have a player like Allison on your team or short, you shouldn't get pulled for 3 seconds. Oh no! Oh, Aterine read that perfectly, but she didn't give the message to Braithwaite. So, unfortunately, would have been an incredibly beautiful interception, but denied by her own teammate.
And a little bit of a worrying start here for the University of Hertfordshire. Oh, and as I say, that ball goes off the back line. So, I'm watching that University of Birmingham bench. I think they sense, that they need to seize the moment here to extend the gap further. Currently 4 ahead, thanks to some great defensive pressure. And some lovely court balance through that centre third. Quite different to that of Birmingham that we spoke of in the quarter-time break.
Yes, definitely. And Jada Braithwaite attempting to win that ball on the circle edge. I thought she did a really good job, but unfortunately was called at full contact. I did actually think she had front position to that ball, but we know defensively you don't really get very much as a player.
Yeah, you keep trying to protest about this. I think you're using this platform unfairly. I'm going to have to stick up for the attackers.
Attackers don't need any support. Typically, they're the ones who are glorified. Oh, almost 3 seconds there, but great attacking defence from Hertfordshire goal defence. Eliza Barkley to support her team in the centre court.
Much better feed there by Courtney Ferns into Giselle Allison. Just taking the edge off it. The last one spilt off the back line. That's an important goal. And if you continue to protest that goal defence or defenders are protected, I'm going to have to invite the one and only Gary Burgess to start tweeting.
That is a threat. But actually, giving her dues, just then the attacker fell over. There was no call. So I guess defenders aren't always at the wrong end of umpiring decisions.
Oh, and that was a lovely ball. Charlotte Robinson for Birmingham just getting the timing wrong on that roll. It's really tricky to do if you're trying to force the ball off the back line as a goalkeeper. But good to see her exploring all options to confuse this Hertfordshire midcourt. I think Giselle Allison's far too strong if allowed to get on that front position though. She doesn't give ball up easily.
This is true, and I think the Birmingham crowd are listening to you and they understand that too, so they're starting to get a little bit rowdy, sensing a Hertfordshire comeback. So at one point 4 goals up in this quarter, Birmingham, but the score now closer, 16 to Birmingham, 15 to Hertfordshire. So Hertfordshire getting back into the quarter, dominating some more. Oh, great ball control there from the Hertfordshire centre, but footwork called.
And And what was it that you think made the difference for Hertfordshire, Emma, in that moment where they did need to respond, having gone 4 down? What did you see?
Yeah, I think they are trying to rush things a bit too much. So before they were playing somewhat steady netball, and I think now it's almost like they've settled into the game and they're comfortable and a little bit overconfident, I feel, so wanting to give those long balls and not necessarily have done the work in the front to warrant doing that. So I think when you give a long ball, it should be because there's people in front of you who've done work, and so the defenders don't necessarily know whether you're going to pass the ball short or long. And for me, at the moment, Hertfordshire have started being a bit too confident and sending long balls, sometimes overstretching Alison and not getting her in positions where she's comfortable shooting from.
Oh, excellent shot. Giselle Alison really finding her form at the post. We know how capable she is there. And I agree, I think Courtney Fearns spilt a few balls but has tidied up on her final feed, so that partnership strengthening all the time. And Hertfordshire taking the lead for the first time in a long time, but Birmingham levelling again. 17 all, 8 minutes, just over 8 minutes left to play. Oh, Courtney Fearns now, definitely, that's exactly what you want to see from a mid-quarter feeder. Is she threw 1 or 2 away and she's fixed it up, and not only that, but she's now able to execute from both short and long range, both on and off the circle. So asking questions again now of the Birmingham defence.
And also the Birmingham attack. So Birmingham losing the ball for silly mistakes as opposed to being under pressure. And Hertfordshire to take a ball for offside in the goal third. Fearns again, give and go, and then makes the better option of choosing Alison on the baseline. Hertfordshire now 2 goals up with the centre parts.
Yeah, don't you just love, this is what I love. Oh, and there we go. Interesting to see Charlotte Robinson rolling that backspace again. The difference this time is she got the timing right, so at the point of the release of the feed, she then rolled the back, so Giselle couldn't move into that backspace where the ball was. So for those at home, it may look like an awful feed, but you also have to give credit there to the defender. Yay! It's very Ebony Osoro-Brown-esque. I remember even in her younger days, she used to play against the likes of Romelda Aitken from Jamaica, and often the one way to win the ball was really to put some indecision on the feed.
Yeah, definitely. I think as a defender, you can't always get clean interceptions or tips, so it's about forcing error and winning possession that way, any which way you can, really.
Such a swing in this quarter from 4 down to 1 up in favour of the University of Hertfordshire. No sooner are we complimenting the University of Birmingham than we've then got to be that chameleon and start saying how well the University of Hertfordshire are playing.
Exactly, and I guess that's a reflection on the scoreline, in that no team is outright dominating the other. And I think if they can both clean up their unforced errors, the game, the scoreline probably won't change in terms of it being goal for goal, but it will make for a lot nicer, cleaner netball. And the umpire calls for an offside in the circle. So Melissa Robinson finds Giselle Alison under the post. Hertfordshire up by 2 with their centre parts, and a sneaky interception by Kate Henshaw puts possession back in Birmingham hands, so they'll have the opportunity to shorten the gap to 1. Kat Short with the ability to do it, and she does. So now Birmingham down by 1 with the centre parts.
The feed's getting a little bit better into Kat Short.
Yeah, I think it's because they're waiting to put the ball there, taking an extra few passes so they're closer to the circle. At the moment, Odili Eterine is confusing the space somewhat, and Birmingham confidently not putting the ball in, knowing that they need to work it down to find better position for Kat Short.
Stevens, I've been really impressed with her since she's come into the centre position. She's playing with real confidence, in particular in that attacking third, delivering the ball to Giselle Allison. Anna, we know these teams have got strength in depth. I look to the University of Hertfordshire bench, I can see Olivia Tasheen. What an interesting choice or decision for Mel Mansfield to make. Will she insert her? The team are doing incredibly well. It's all level. Would she make the difference, or would it actually disrupt the team? I know it's challenging when you've got these Super League players within your squads, because you won't get much time with them, and rightly so, because their priority is in that Super League. In particular for somebody like Liv Tasheen, who's been playing every minute for London Pulse and been doing a fantastic job. So what would you do if you were Mel Mansfield?
It's really interesting. I think some coaches say, oh, I'm going to save the best players till the end and inject them. But you don't want a game to run away with you. Obviously, at the moment, the game isn't running away with Hertfordshire now 1 goal up. But I think it's interesting that she didn't start with Liv Tasheen, possibly at goal shooter, or with Giselle at goal attack. But at the moment, they seem to be doing okay. They're going goal for goal. I wouldn't be comfortable going goal for goal, so I would be bringing Liv Tasheen on. I think, based on how she's been performing for London Pulse, she's definitely stepped up and improved her game. So I imagine she will be able to perform at this level relatively easily. So I would inject her into the game, because I think Birmingham are doing really well. They're just struggling with those unforced errors. So for me, I'd bring Liv Tasheen on right now.
Yeah, and that's not to say Melissa Robinson's doing a fantastic job. I think she's playing a great role in front of Giselle Allison, and Giselle Allison is still being found relatively easily, so it's not necessarily because there's a problem here. And this is the challenge for us as coaches, is we're trying to make positive changes, thinking that those players will enter the court playing their best. I don't have that mindset of, shall I put a player on and what happens if they're at their worst? You make positive changes, and Mel maybe sat there thinking, we've done a good job here, we're in the game, we're level, and I know I've still got some options. I'm sure the University of Birmingham feel they could inject some changes too, so it's going to be a fascinating second half, in particular quarter 3, so often spoken of as a championship quarter, although I would disagree with that. I believe every single quarter in my Rose's tenure has been a championship quarter for either us or the opposition. So yeah, but an intriguing game still to be played.
All the nets getting in the way of things for Birmingham University. They often talk about the crowd being the extra player, but in that instance, the post decided to join in for Hertfordshire Maverick. University of Hertfordshire. Incredible defending there. Just that repositioning that you talked about earlier, Jess, in terms of covering the front space and then moving into the back space. Charlotte Robinson did that perfectly then, unable to gather the loose ball, but almost a defensive masterclass.
Yeah, I feel like there's some players that have really stepped up in this quarter. Charlotte Robinson working things out a little. Stevens entering the game and having impact. Courtney Fearns learning from some mistakes early on.
And again, as I said at the other end, the post was working for University of Hertfordshire, and at this end too, it's worked in their favour once more. So Birmingham taking their time with their centre parts, having to play it backwards because of the pressure that they're feeling in the attack.
If you just watch all the defensive pressure off the ball from that whole defending unit for the University of Hertfordshire, closing down every option, and that forces a long ball, and there is the reward. Maturini clapping the efforts of her line of defenders in front of her. And there we see the response from Ruth Hughes to say, no, we need this one. We're 3 down, we were 4 up. We cannot let this slip.
And once again, the time on your screens is slightly out. There's about 3 seconds left to play. Allison with the shot, and it doesn't fall for her. So we close at half-time in this EY Netball Championship Hertfordshire University 26, Birmingham University 24.
I'm exhausted.
I am as well. I need some refueling snacks. So, both teams, I think, this is the game we came for. We wanted it to be close, but I don't feel any team has settled into their style of play. And so what would you be saying to the team now as a coach, Jess? And what changes would you potentially like to see in terms of the personnel on the court, but people that might be able to be ejected?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think any team has got a complete foothold in this match, and you know, rightly so. I think it would be a disservice to the form of both teams coming into this championship final to expect one to run away with it in the first half of the match. I do think that Hertfordshire have the momentum though. I think the work and the pressure built by that defending unit has asked some big questions of the Birmingham attack, and at the same time down the other end the University of Hertfordshire are finding their feet and flow. Connections are great, and if we take a look at some of these scoring moments, we will be able to get a closer look at how effective these circles are being. It's not necessarily just the goals themselves, it's the lead-up play, it's paying attention when you're watching these clips as to the position of where the feed is coming from. And Giselle Allison on that front position, we know that she can be pretty creative as a goal shooter. She knows the craft of the circle, and down the other end, got a very different style in Cat Short. Doing a good job for her team, but maybe more reliant on the execution accuracy of her mid-court. And at times, it's taken a higher number of phases to find her, or they're being forced to throw in from distance. And the University of Hertfordshire defenders are doing a good job in picking off some of those balls. So here you've just got structure lacking there, with players almost making the similar offer. And so for me, that ball wasn't maybe through choice, it was because the other options were lacking. And again, great vision. I am really impressed with Melissa Robinson. She has worked tirelessly, and I think is one of those players that can go really unnoticed. I think it's important to give her some acknowledgement in this first half performance. It's allowing Giselle Allison to shine, and sometimes when you notice that in a match, it's quite good to turn your attention to what else is happening rather than just the obvious thing. And she's only small, but she's holding her ground there under the post against the defender who's towering over. I love the mentality of Robinson.
Exactly, and I think she's putting herself in the right places, and it's almost a thankless start. She's working really well, working the front of the circle. When Allison pops out, she's driving along the base. We saw her there just protecting the shot so that Allison could have a free shot at goal without defensive pressure. So as you say, she is doing a lot, and we did talk about whether Liv Tasheen should be injected onto the court, but not through anything detrimental or negative that Robinson's doing. She's actually having quite a standout game, and also I think putting up shots as and when is necessary. So because of that, the defenders can't solely focus on Allison. They have to still pay attention to Melissa Robinson.
Yeah, and I think it's a great option for Mel Mansfield to have, to be able to inject a Liv Tasheen. It would be quite a different style. It may even be with Robinson, you know, and I think we need to, it's easy for us to sit here not knowing the journey of these teams. I'm sure Robinson and Giselle have had quite a lot of time together. They're most probably quite settled, connected. And Sophie Jackson, again playing a great role out in front of Cat Short. So strong on the take, Giselle Allison, which means that she is a constant threat. So the University of Hertfordshire really turning the tide in that second quarter despite going down by a margin of 4. An excellent response by them to ask further questions of the University of Birmingham as we go into the second half of this exciting championship final. Both teams very well matched as it stands. And we will rejoin you in a couple of minutes for that hotly anticipated second half. Stay tuned on this live stream.
For the third quarter of this championship final, please welcome back Hertfordshire and Birmingham.
So the team's ready to take the court.
So we are in the opening seconds of this second half, and how crucial will this third quarter prove to be? Very little between these sides, only 2 goals separating, down to 1 as we speak. Cat Short sinking her opening goal of this second half. So well matched, everything that you would hope for in a championship final.
And changes to the teams coming into the second half of this game. So still no Liv Tasheen for University of Hertfordshire, no changes there. And for Birmingham, Henshaw takes to the bench and Harding is introduced at goal defence. Cat Short with a great hold there under the post, but the team not wanting to put the ball in, and because of that, Atarina reads the play, gets that incredible tip which Hertfordshire gained possession from.
If you're not careful, you'll be on the court in a minute. For those, again, that can't see, it's not good having these secrets, but Amma just showed great agility next to me. She's still got it, everybody.
I'm not sure I ever had it. $29 goals Hertfordshire to 25 Birmingham. Hertfordshire opening this quarter very well.
Oh, great feed. Oh, that one wasn't sure. Cat Short, I think, just blew on it, just nudged it in. I mean, she's close enough to blow on it and for it to have an impact, so.
You were talking about being tall, that sometimes it's useful. I guess it's in those circumstances.
Oh, really tricky when Giselle Allison is getting that front hold. I know we've spoken about it a lot, but that might be where that dropping goal defence could come in handy, and maybe some switches between the Birmingham defenders. Harding now at goal defence, Robinson at keeper.
Oh, Jessie Ducker only has eyes for Cat Short. able to confidently, every time she catches the ball and turns, she looks in to the shooting circle, whether she's in the centre third or not. And then if it's not on, she goes elsewhere. And I like that in a wing attack. The confidence to have that connection with their goal shooter, but to play around them if necessary.
Wing attacks take note. Oh, Robinson, such a shame. That one just runs away and off the court. Oh, it's lovely to see the goalkeeper, Robinson, making herself available on the line. He's going to take an all-court effort.
That's what you were asking for before, that the defenders brought the ball further down the court for Birmingham, so I guess you're happy they've got your memo.
I just think it's, you know, if you think of it simply, it doesn't make sense to attack away from your goal. You want to attack to it. If we just think of the fundamentals of any invasion game. So I think Birmingham look much more comfortable when that's the case. And as you say, why not when you have the likes of Sanderson more than capable of carrying the ball?
Exactly. And if they aren't thinking in terms of youth with why not attack in an invasion game, they should just think in terms of saving energy. Why run away to have to come back? That's my philosophy.
But as we know, mid-court are a different breed. They enjoy covering a lot of ground.
It's true. I guess when you're wearing the GPS trackers, they're the ones who have the most miles or kilometres covered. But in my opinion, they should save all that energy running around. Just play smarter. There's no need to run. But probably why I'm not a mid-court.
I've seen you at wing defence. And Giselle Allison just maintaining a 2-goal lead. So Birmingham will be pleased that they've been able to keep the scores level so far in this quarter.
Oh, is there nothing Sanderson cannot do?
Oh, not rewarded. If there was ever a shot that you would put your money on, it would have been that one. And Birmingham winning the ball back, so very few options there. If you noticed, Birmingham shut down all the short options, forcing that long ball. Oh, and again, looking under pressure. Oh, this is a key moment again for both sides.
It is, but a great passing decision there from Harding at goal defence. She opted to ignore Hughes coming towards her and looked for the depth, passing closer to the circle edge.
Sophie Jackson doing a good job just to present, but still opting for the offload there to catch short. I don't know about you, Emma, but I'd quite like to see her put a shot up there. I don't think there was any real pressure over her shot. I think it's always worth reminding circle defenders when you've got that tall shooter that you are more than capable of nailing it when required.
Exactly. I think it just keeps you, as you say, in the defender's mind and takes some pressure off your goal shooter. Also, you never know when Alison there taking a ball or an arm to the face, just recovering, but you never know when you're going to be required to step up and take a shot. So throughout the game, I think as a goal attack, even if you've got an incredible goal shooter, it's really important that you occasionally get your eye in just to make sure you still know, because I know maybe some shooters forget how to shoot, but under pressure of the game and the intensity and as the game goes on, important to keep your eye in. And as you say, she wasn't under any defensive pressure, so actually those are the shots that it's probably more likely you would want to put up.
Yeah, and look, the way this game's playing out, who knows, we might find ourselves nearing a draw towards the end of full time, and it could be her that needs to sink that shot. So it's as much for her just to keep that rhythm on her shot, not overthinking it. Oh, another big 3 seconds, I believe. So again, Birmingham finding themselves now the team chasing in small margin.
But Birmingham seem to be very good defensively. They've worked well as a team to put that pressure on, but they can't seem to convert it at the attacking end. Why do you think that is?
I just don't think they don't look as though they've got really sound and consistent structures in attack. Often they've been, now this may be the work of the Hertfordshire defence, they've often been caught on the same side. At least 2 out of their 4 players are on the same side of the court. It's very easy to close space down, so I'd like to see them have a little bit more width and depth. They've just missed the opportunity there to get back-to-back goals. It would have been interesting then to see the response.
And they get the opportunity once again. For me, actually, Jackson probably needs to step up in terms of her workload because she has Kat Short behind her. I think she's very reliant on her, but she needs to keep driving around the front to take that pressure off Short and also be an option, whereas I think what she does is she starts to take a drive and then decides, actually, Kat will get the ball, so I'm just going to stop. So I think she needs to lift her work rate a little bit.
Yeah, I think if I think internationally to some of the best teams that play with height in their circles, Jamaica are experts at this. They have goal attacks that front cut, curve the circle, play the short, do the in and out. And that, I mean, they are more of a handful when you've got a short option to a goal attack who wants the ball, wants to shoot, as well as that height in and around the post. So appreciate this isn't international netball, but an opportunity, as you say, for them to maybe explore the role of that goal attack a little bit more.
Definitely, and as you mentioned in the game prior, it's a breeding ground. So in England, there's only a certain number of opportunities for people to play at the top level. So yes, we have Netball Super League and we have the Premier League. But for some players, this might be the pinnacle of their career. But also, there's a lot of young talent playing in these games. So we've seen a lot of NPL and under-21, under-19 Super League Academy players playing here. So this is where they learn their craft and get the opportunity to put it out on court. So, as you say, Jamaica do the tall shooter workhorse goal attack so well. So this is an opportunity for these players to practice that.
Yeah, Sophie Taylor did have another great opportunity there. Oh, incredible. Fantastic turnover. Harding for the University of Birmingham, first phase off the centre pass, Hertfordshire centre pass. That's always quite uplifting for any team.
Oh, great drive there. The work that Ruth Hughes did off the ball, so she gave it and she ran as if she was getting it back, but Duckers was available on the circle edge. So for me, for Birmingham, that was a great attack, and it involved all 4 of the attacking players, even though they weren't necessarily all used.
Sanderson with the quick offload. That ball speed can help just off foot the Hertfordshire defence. I must say, Eliza Barkley is doing a ton of work. We've spoken a lot now about Sophie Jackson, but some of that credit needs to go to her opponent. She's not letting her get comfortable at all in this game.
She's not, and Sophie Jackson previously represented Team Bath under-19s in NPL and currently is with the BUCS under-21.
And we're back to a 1-goal lead in favour of the University of Birmingham. First time they've taken the lead since that second quarter.
Oh, and the defensive pressure there from Charlotte Robinson, just forcing the ball to go over her head. She didn't touch it, it was just by her footwork and body movement that she forced the ball off the back. And possession once again to Birmingham to see if they can extend its 1-goal lead. Again, still struggling to get the ball across this attack transverse line.
Oh, a great challenge by Audrey Atirini.
And pulled in her favour. So a great challenge and rewarded for her efforts.
She's finding some of that Q1 form.
Just off camera now, she's actually holding her neck. I think she must have got a little bit of a knock. Hopefully it won't impact on her play because she's had an incredible game. I was just going to say prior to her doing that she'd gone a little bit quiet, but obviously sensed what I was going to say. I shall bite my tongue.
Yeah, and I think when players make impact, whether it's the start of the game or off the bench, we get a bit greedy, we expect them to just keep doing that, and actually the thing that I love about our sport is that you play your part and then your teammate steps up, and you just need to do your job and do it well, and then if you can elevate your performance again for a few minutes, as long as everybody's doing that and sharing the load, it will always be enough. And I think sometimes, I know I do, I get greedy, expect people to keep reproducing it.
Will it always be enough?
What's that?
Will it? You said it will always be enough. Will it? What's
well,
enough?
That's what I'm hoping for. I think the best teams are those that really sense when their teammate's done a job, and then, you know, it's their turn to step up, and where are those opportunities? And I think opposition teams then really struggle because no sooner do they feel they're winning one one-on-one battle, they're then losing another. And if you can do that to any team and be really disruptive, I think it's, puts you in a really great position.
Yeah, I guess it affects the team mentally, and I think we don't give enough credit to how much you can do to a team, not on the court in terms of your movement and your play, but in terms of the mentality of grinding them down and making them suffer at times when they're under pressure or frustrated.
Oh, and the fist pumps, double arm fist pump there by Charlotte Robinson as she collects the ball for what will be a Birmingham turnover, restarting from that back line. I really do feel Harriet Sanderson cannot be underestimated in terms of her quick delivery on attack, is making a huge difference now on that three-court.
It definitely is, and Sanderson can play across several positions on court, so wing defence, goal defence and centre, previously representing 7 Stars in under-19s NPL, and now representing Watts under-21. She's in her 2nd year of physiotherapy at Birmingham University.
Yeah, big smile on her face. You won't see it off camera, but a high five there with her teammates.
And I think she's definitely stepped up. So when I was at 7 Stars, she was there and she was a training partner, and I could see the talent that she had, just the hunger for the ball, and I think her physical capabilities in terms of reading the play and then rewarding that with interceptions and success defensively on court.
I just want to shout out there to Melissa Robinson. Her feed from the centre third to Giselle Allison is pretty special, given the context of this game and the fine margins that both teams are playing under. The University of Birmingham. How do you not get excited, Amma, when you start to be a team that takes the lead? You know, they were the bridesmaid last time, runners-up to this University of Hertfordshire side. What you've been in games like this, we know the biggest game that you've been in. How are you even aware of it? Do you allow yourself to get too far ahead? And if not, how do you remain so disciplined to not get too carried away?
Well, at the moment, it's on the buzzer. There's a penalty. Time is up. And Kat Short to take her team 3 goals up. And she scores. So Birmingham close out the 3rd quarter, 41 goals to 38. But as you were saying, Jets, it's hard to not get caught in the moment, I think. But for me, when I was playing on court, I didn't really notice the crowd. If I was on the bench, I could feel the crowd and feel the energy. But I think it's probably just been a lot of practice to stay focused and in the moment. And I would get a sense of, I almost feel the ebbs and flows of the game and the momentum shifting, and then I never used to be, you'd ask me what the score was at the end of the game and I wouldn't know, but not because I wasn't paying attention to the score, but I more reflected on the difference in the scoreline, so I'd know if we were 2 goals up or a few goals down, and so I think getting that sense, you start feeling it and thinking, oh my goodness, there's not much time left on the clock, there's something, we need to do something, and I need to step up, or the team needs to step up, or this is what we need to do in terms of a whole team defence or the unit that I'm playing in. But you would have had the same thing in terms of your playing days and internationally.
No, don't turn this back on me. Like, what we all want to know is
who is going to be selected
in Commonwealth Games gold medal match. Did you all manage to stay? I mean, it was the first ever final. It's the only final that the Roses have been in. and you find yourselves with that opportunity in the closing minutes. There's no ignoring it. Everyone must collectively have felt that there was an opportunity just teetering for the team. Any insights as to how, do you think it's just momentum? Do you think people just get on? Because it's so easy as a coach to say, just keep doing what you're doing, do your job, execute your role. There's no avoiding how special that is. It's the first time, it's new territory. And, you know, until you're there, how do you know?
It's true, and I think for years, and you will have been in teams with me where you practice things like clock pressure, so you'll be in training and they'll say, there's 10 seconds left on the clock and it's your centre pass, and you practice those time in, time out, and you'll practice to put crowd noise on in the background or maybe give a consequence to the team that lose. But it's not the same. Everybody knows it's not the same. But all you can do is practice in those kind of situations and scenarios and do the preparation. I think people see you winning on the day and think, oh my gosh, it's absolutely incredible. But that win was the culmination of years and years and years of work. So any player who had ever played for England, they had contributed to the mindset of the players that were going into that final. And as you say, we'd never been in a final, so it would have been easy, I think, to be complacent and say, oh my gosh, it's the first time we've ever going into a match at the end of a tournament where we're going to win a medal either way. So it could have been very easy, I think, to sit back and say, we've got a medal, it's a silver, we've never got a silver. Also, I think with it being in Australia, they almost guaranteed that they would win netball gold because they are world number one. It's in Australia. Netball is such a significant sport in Australia in that it's a female-dominated sport, but it actually ranks above a number of their male sports. And so it was their glory. And so I think at the time when you're playing, you need to forget all of that. So I did use it a bit to rev the girls up at the beginning because I wanted them to remember that we were ridiculed and almost told that England weren't going to win this medal because Australia were. So use that fire, but in the moment, you want to forget all about that. You just want to do your job, concentrate on what is. You need some people to step up and win balls when you need them to be won. But
so knowing what you know, and knowing this game has gone up and down, who's your money on?
Oh, it's a really difficult game. We're back to it in the last quarter. Birmingham up by 3, 41 goals to 38. The pressure that you're putting me under to pick. Neither team, I feel, has actually settled into the game. It's been very sporadic.
Sheen, you've got what you wanted. Oh, but Sanderson nearly spoiling that for you.
Definitely. I was, before you pointed out that Liv Sheen has taken to the court, I was going to say Birmingham, but now I'm going to throw it back to you. And so 2018 Commonwealth Games, first ever final and first ever gold medal for England. But that was 4 years ago. This is now Birmingham 2022. You've got to pick a squad. If it happened to be the Commonwealth Games tomorrow, could you name me 7 players that you might pick for that Commonwealth Games?
I can't because I'm just in awe of the match in front of me right now. University of Hearts, they're losing their centre pass. We've got parents here in front of us with arms up and stood up out of their seats. Not to be rude to not answer your question. I just don't want to do a disservice to these teams.
I'll get back to it.
In such fine margins. I'm good at avoiding answering that question.
You've done well, and we'll come back to that afterwards. But just to confirm the changes for Hertfordshire, so Allison moves to goal attack, Sheen on the court now at goal shooter. Robinson moves from goal attack to wing attack, so I think Jess will be glad that she hasn't left the court because of the good work that she has done. And Stevens, who was on at centre, now moves to the bench, with Ferns taking her place at centre.
And what difference do you feel Liv Sheen should make in this game, Amma? Because I think we can talk about it now as should, not could. You know, Liv Sheen is enjoying a lot of court time now. London Colson, while still very young, has been in and around the Roses programme. What do you want and expect to see from her if she is going to be the difference for this University of Hertfordshire side?
Yeah, I would expect her to dominate, so to always be an option in the goal circle. But actually, I think it's probably, she's doing a really good job at Pulse, but it's not just a solo effort. There's a lot of players around her at Pulse who are creating space and opportunity for her. So it will be really important today that Alison performs well at goal attack and Robinson continues the good work she's been doing when she was at the goal attack position.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and actually I couldn't agree more. Hadn't even considered, obviously not knowing all of the players as well as Mel Mansfield, that they could just shift Robinson across. I think what an excellent move, because we spoke before that she'd been doing fantastic work, and I think for her to have left the court to make room for Liv Tasheen would have been a shame. So to keep that connection between her and Alison, as you say, this isn't actually just about Liv Tasheen, this is about whether or not Giselle Allison can keep the ball and be accurate in that goal attack role, where there is now a higher workload required of her. But when you've got Robinson, I feel like she is going to bring some energy between those two, and I have no doubt Liv Tasheen will want to make an impact here.
She will, and Robinson on a different team, trying to make an impact there at goalkeeper, getting in a tangle though, standing out of play. So 44 goals to Birmingham, 42 to Hertfordshire. Birmingham still having difficulty getting the ball into their attack third. A number of balls in the centre third before eventually finding short underneath the post.
Sorry, I'm watching the off the ball work and some of the reactions of the players. Harriet Sanderson and Giselle Allison just having a little bit of a collision, and what I love is it just shows the passion of these players. Again, I know that sounds like it should just be there, but sometimes nerves can get the better of people, but it seems to be getting the best out of the likes of somebody like Sanderson. This is where you see the leaders in a team. I mean, this would be a big scalp, right, if Birmingham could hold on to this lead. Amma, would you say that they were the slight underdogs? Was there such a thing coming into this final?
I feel like they were both reasonably even, but I guess based on the fact that University of Hertfordshire won the 2019 final, Birmingham probably, you would say, were the underdogs coming into this game. They've definitely been under pressure. They've dominated at stages. It's very even, so we're definitely being entertained with some good netball here today for this EY Championship netball final.
So that second quarter was 14-11 in favour of Hertfordshire, despite Birmingham stretching out to a 4-goal lead in that first half. That third quarter, a 17-12 swing back in favour of Birmingham. And so if it went to form, this should be Hertfordshire's quarter. But does it ever work like that?
No, it never works to plan. You can disrupt the plan. That's the plan. But no, I'm not favouring either team. I just want some good netball. I don't think I've got it in me, as we said earlier. I can't go to a draw.
I think you've jinxed it. I think it's absolutely going to be a draw. Hertfordshire here, as they move towards an opportunity to try and level things out. Alison opting to play back before it then goes back in. Turns to Tasheen.
And the Hertfordshire fans starting to get that bit more vocal. They have a sniff that they could be in to win this championship final.
If you've joined us for this live stream of this EY Championship final, powered by New Balance, and you don't have enough snacks to last what could be extra time, I recommend you go now.
Oh, Robinson taking a look, but deciding actually Tasheen is the most important thing she needed to defend at that time. But actually, I think defensively, when you have a player like Liv Tasheen, who 9 times out of 10 will hold and get the ball overhead, you want to go for those balls to the midcourt outside of the circle. So Robinson saw it, thought about it. I'd like her to have the confidence to go for it next time.
Oh, Jada Braithwaite-Scott, the wing defence for the University of Hertfordshire, again doing a lot of work. Birmingham were finding it hard to get out of that midcourt again. She's shutting down the short options very well.
And a break and play here as Sanderson takes off the wing defence bib. And also Harding, I think, taking to the bench. So Henschel has come on at wing defence for Birmingham.
No, it isn't Henschel. So we're just looking at the changes. We've been complimenting the work of Sanderson. An intriguing change, but as I say, always easy from this position. Sanderson won't sit down. She still stood up at the sideline here. Adrenaline is pumping.
So Sanderson was replaced by Gray and Harding was replaced by Henschel.
Yeah, Henschel we saw earlier on in the game in that goal defence role. Gray, a very different stature to Sanderson. I thought Sanderson was muscling her way in, making herself very physically present in a good way.
So 49 all.
The Birmingham coaches know their team best, so maybe what was needed was just that change of energy, someone different to think about. The next few minutes will tell.
It will.
Oh, well taken. Giselle Allison, twinkle toes on that transverse line. And this is a bit of a threat here because I feel Giselle to Tasheen is a hard ball to stop from close range.
It is, and the defenders at the moment paying attention to Liv Tasheen, but she's still able to pluck that ball from the air comfortably.
And I think that's most probably one of the biggest areas of growth for Liv Tasheen in the Vitality Netball Super League. Is she will be well rehearsed in being sandwiched by two strong defenders. And she has been much stronger onto the ball. Oh, big turnover here. A chance for University of Hertfordshire to take the lead again. Albeit a slim one, but can they find their way through to their shooters? If they can, you would say they're favourites to nail any shooting opportunity at the moment. And Liv Tasheen sinks that 51st goal, and a chance here for them to double up off their own centre pass.
And I get a sense that when the momentum has truly shifted.
Which way, Anna?
Well, just as I was about to speak, it's gone the other way. Oh. No team wants to let up, and this is the dedication and commitment that we need to see and want to see from players out there. Both teams hungry, desperate to win that title. Braithwaite took a look. Arinene gets the tip, but still possession to Birmingham.
Yeah, I love that passage of play. Braithwaite-Scott, then backed up by her teammate Modiri Itarini. This is exactly what you want to see now with only 3.5 minutes left on the clock. Your team are one down or one up in the case of the University of Hertfordshire. Birmingham in the safe hands of Cat Shaw, that close to the post. It's a no-brainer. And now a chance for the University of Birmingham to double up. Oh, I'd love to see Braithwaite Scott actually have a go. I'm pretty sure she's got some spring in those legs. She could have a go at those balls that are trying to go over her. And here we go. Anna, the big shot. And she sings it.
She does.
Sophie Jackson, we spoke earlier about these dire minutes. It could be her. And she's answered with the first opportunity.
She has. Alison with the confidence to throw that long ball to Sheen. Robinson needs to clean up that game. So defensively, if you're going to be stood out of play, you want it to be for a reason, and that was just a lazy contact there. So needs to clean up her game and still be in the game and able to defend. The umpire just stopping play to speak to somebody in a stern manner. And Short unable to pull the rebound in, so Hertfordshire now with possession. You put the pressure on me, Jets. Who's going to win?
It's going to be a draw. Liv to Sheen, lovely feed. That will really lift the University of Hertfordshire team and their chance for a double up. I sense the team that can do that. In particular now, Hearts have that slim 1-goal lead. If they can take this out to 2 with a minute and a half, it is a big ask, but not impossible for the University of Birmingham. And there we go. Coaches, players, spectators up off their seats. Oh, this is exactly what you want to see.
Oh, great ball there to Short under the post, but such a short range shot. She's been sinking those all game and she misses. So 1 minute to go, Birmingham 2 goals down.
Please ignore the time that you can see on your screen. There is 40 seconds left to play here. We will keep you in touch of that. But if the University of Hertfordshire can score this, then you can't help but think that has secured them a championship title with 20 seconds left.
I imagine so. Mel Manson, the coach, on her feet now, cheering and shouting. She knows that with 14 seconds left to play, there's nothing Birmingham can do. Play's been fought, Birmingham possession. Just 12 seconds left now, but Jada Braithwaite Scott, you'd asked of her the athleticism. No time for this last shot, but it doesn't matter. So University of Hertfordshire once again champions of BUCS.
Emma, it was the final that we wanted. It was goal for goal. It literally swung from one in the favour of one team to another. It's always so brutal for there to be a team that don't quite manage to take it to the end, but such was the contest between these two sides. Birmingham will be so disappointed, but should and could be so proud of what they were able to put out on court today. The difference, Emma, in those last minutes, why the University of Hertfordshire and not Birmingham?
I think it was just the execution, and Birmingham all game had been struggling to get the ball over the transfer line. That hasn't changed throughout the last quarter. So the effort and drive that they had to make in order to get the ball to the goal took its toll, I think, towards the end of the game. And I guess bringing Liv to Sheen on, you know 9 times out of 10 she's going to score those goals. So I guess on the day, Hertfordshire the victors, 55 goals to 52. So we see some highlights now from this final half of netball. Atarine, unfortunate there. She's been so key in terms of defensively working things around for her team.
We'll shortly begin the 2022 BUCS and EY Netball Championship Final presentation.
Great feet to the pocket there.
As part of Big BUCS Wednesday, celebration of the best of
From Stevens.
Firstly, a big thank you to EY, BUCS' netball headline partner for their fantastic support.
So Hertfordshire, Robinson there, as we said, being key in terms of being an option in the mid-court and her ability to feed long into Alison. Alison showing her defensive skills there, but definitely able to dominate. An incredible ball there. We saw that quite often with the Birmingham team. Wing attacks, Ducker, and also Hughes, not afraid to put that ball in long to their shooters. And Kat Short definitely did a good job today, but unfortunately for Birmingham, it wasn't quite enough. They definitely struggled to bring the ball through that mid-court, and I think that was telling towards the end of the game. Hertfordshire just with that patience, but also that ability there. That long ball to Alison, it could come from the centre third or just in the goal third, and she was able to take those balls even if they weren't quite in the right place. And I think that's testament to her athletic ability and her netball and basketball background, but it's definitely helped put Hearts into the lead in its championship game. So here, an easy centre parts there, so not much pressure on the goal attack, but they doubled up trying to stop the ball to the depth on the feed, but Kat Short provided an option under the post for them. So they did have some good defensive plays, this Hertfordshire team, able to try and put pressure on the Birmingham team. And Liv Tasheen, once she came on, ability to stabilise things, and if you can't score the first time, get your rebound. So a lot of people used to say to me when I was a shooter that I wasn't very good at shooting, but I was very good at rebounding. So Liv Tasheen showing her rebounding skills then too.
And Jess Selby, the England Roses head coach. First awards will be to our match officials, who of course we couldn't do without today. So
and we are shortly to go to the medal ceremony of the EY Netball Championship on this BUCS Big Wednesday, supported by New Balance. So the players just celebrating from Hertfordshire, but the Birmingham team just thanking their fans for coming to support them. There was incredible support for both teams here in the crowd today, and we often say it's the 8th member of the team. And the match officials, we couldn't play this game without them, receiving their medals. Jess Thirlby, the England coach, potentially putting in a good word with the umpires, but they officiated well. They allowed consistency and allowed the game to flow. And the player of the match just being presented to Odiri Atarine as player of the match today. She was absolutely incredible. A little quiet in the third quarter, but she heard me say that and she stepped up. She was amazing in the first and second quarters, and then came back alive in the fourth. She read the game well. She was playing against Kat Short, so by no means an easy player to play against, but she was constantly moving. She gave a few inches away on Kat Short, but she definitely put pressure on her. And there you can see she's
applause for our BUCS
impressed with herself and her team
Birmingham.
support her. And at the moment, Atere, not representing any Super League franchise, represented Mavericks for 3 years and Storm prior to that. Also has played for Academy Netball Club and Telstar. But now we move to the runners-up of this EY Championship BUCS final. Birmingham University taking their silver medals and their crowd cheering and happy. They break out in song. As all good students, there's always a song and a chant to happen. So a representative from EY presenting the medals alongside Jets Thirlby, England netball captain. And they've done their crowd proud here today. Unfortunately, 3 goals to deficit. So Birmingham standing in front of the champions placard to take their photo, but runners up here today. They've done well themselves, so Kat Short, goal shooter, Georgia Allen, Sophie Jackson, Jessie Duckers, Ruth Hughes, Rosie Gray, Harriet Sanderson, Ellie Harding, Kate Henshaw, Lottie Robinson, and 2 injured players who still represented from the bench, Georgia Pexton and Louise Marsden. Coaches Joan Hunter and manager Wes Blair. So now to the champions, University of Hertfordshire, and they step up to receive their medals. The team, Liz Tasheen, Giselle Allison, Mel Robinson, Courtney Ferns, Jada Braithwaite-Scott, Eliza Barkley, Audrey Aterine, Lola Stevens, Ellie Oswick, Phoebe Akiwadale, Fenella Rhodes and Maya Wonder. Coached by Mel Mansfield. And champions they were in 2019, once again in 2022. There was no final last year, so I suppose they're almost back-to-back champions. But definitely have a crowd waiting to celebrate their team here in Nottingham. So they've travelled quite some way from Hertfordshire to support their team, and I guess they've been rewarded because it's Hertfordshire that take the EY Netball Championship. BUCS Big Wednesday today, so many sports being celebrated here today. Their finals are on. And for 2022, the EY Netball Championships for BUCS, University of Hertfordshire. And we have co-captains for this team. So Liv Tasheen is the co-captain alongside Mel Robinson. So they're just receiving instructions from the photographer. Not yet ready to lift the trophy, but their crowd have encroached onto the court in anticipation for their celebrations. What a day of netball it has been. Incredible scenes. We've had 2 netball games here. The first one, the trophy final, and this one, the EY champion final. University of Hertfordshire. The anticipation. It's a little bit how they kept us on tenterhooks in the game, but finally they're ready. Oh, Liv Tasheen pretending she's got something in her throat. Finally, there you have it. Oh, a bit of a letdown, but hey, you are here at the David Ross Arena in and it is the EY Netball Championship final. Hertfordshire Mavericks, apologies, University of Hertfordshire beating the University of Birmingham 55 goals to 52. And the crowd spill out onto the floor, celebrating their two teams.
What are the celebration plans?
So Liv Tasheen just on court having an interview. She's being asked what her plans are for celebrating, what the team's plans are. Very, very good response. She said she's not too sure, but incredible, a great game of netball. I think the lead flowed back and forth. We weren't sure who was going to win. Jet Thirlby, England netball coach, she couldn't call it. I couldn't call it either, but at the end of the day, University of Hertfordshire, they can celebrate with a 3-goal win. They won in 2019, and once again, they've won in 2022. So shortly, we will head down to court with the player of the match from University of Hertfordshire, and also Liv Tasheen. So Audrey Atarine on court being interviewed by Jet Thirlby alongside Liv Tasheen.
So big smiles, ladies. Look like you've just won. You've just won the EY Championship. The trophy looks nice. Put it up, Liv. Let's have a good look at it. Adiri, I'm going to start with you, player of the match. You had such an impact, not at the start of the game in particular, but then you came to life again when your team needed it the most.
Yeah.
A comment on your group, your team's performance today.
I think we really showed how much perseverance and resilience we have when times got tough. We went up, we went down, but we never let our heads drop, and that's why we came out with the win today.
And how did you prepare to play against someone of the stature of Kat Shaw?
I mean, amazing player. It wasn't easy. She gave me a run for my money, but just, yeah, lots of hard work and training, and yeah.
So humble. You had an outstanding game. You should be very proud of your contribution to your team's win. Liv Tasheen, I mean, we only saw 15 minutes of you at the end. You must have been itching to get onto that court today. Before you came onto court, how confident were you that your team could take the win?
After playing against Loughborough, we were down by 6 and still managed to win. And we've just got, as Adiri said, just that perseverance in us and that grit. And we just, I think, even our heart, during the break, the third quarter, we did say we just got to come on and leave everything on court, no matter what the result was going to be. We knew they were going to come out harder each quarter, but we just had to come out the same. So yeah, it was a bit scary, I'm not going to lie. It was a bit scary because the girls were doing a fantastic job. So coming in to just fit in and try and have an impact, it was very hard. But honestly, the girls, they've worked hard for this. We've all worked hard for this, on court, off court. So yeah, I think we just left everything on court, to be honest.
And I did notice that you were speaking quite a lot in that three-quarter time break, trying to motivate your team. I guess a comment in terms of the Birmingham side, because if there had been another quarter, I wonder which way it would have swung.
Exactly.
Such was the closeness in the game.
Yeah.
So a comment on that opposition, because so many of you know each other.
We knew Birmingham were going to be hard, we knew, and it was just about not only physically preparing but mentally as well. But yeah, we knew they're going to be a strong side. They're strong individually and as a team. Got a couple of them in the NSL as well, so we kind of like watched them. And as Adiri said, Kat Shaw, like 6'6", phenomenal, strong, and yeah, we knew it was going to be hard, but we just had to leave everything out on court, to be honest. So yeah.
And the University of Hertfordshire is well and truly on the map. So many finals, championship finals, so many wins, another one today. What makes the University of Hertfordshire so special?
I think it's just the fact that we don't give up. We just want to keep proving that, you know, we can be like one of the top universities out there, no matter how good the opposition are. We just want to show that, you know, we can be part of the cool kids basically as well. So yeah, I mean, yeah, shout out to our team management as well back in Hearts. Like they do really get onto us. They get onto us a lot. So yeah, we're just trying to prove a point, and yeah.
Well, I think you've more than done that, so huge
Thank you.
congratulations to you both, but to your wider team as well. Congratulations, enjoy yourself, not too much live, you've got some Super League matches coming up, but I hope you enjoy the moment. Congratulations
Thank you.
on the EY Championship win.
Thanks, Jess. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us here at the David Ross Arena in Nottingham. You have been watching the EY Netball Championship, the BUCS EY Netball Championship, powered by New Balance, where Hertfordshire, the University of Hertfordshire, have taken the title, beating the University of Birmingham 55 goals to 52. Great scene. So University of Hertfordshire, again, they won the title in 2019, so a second time for them, and actually in 2019 they beat Birmingham to the title. So it's almost deja vu for us here in Nottingham. But you have been with me, Amma Abweze, and alongside me was Jess Thirlby, England Netball head coach. And that is it from us at the David Ross Arena in Nottingham. Thank you to EY for their sponsorship of the championship title, and New Balance for supporting BUCS. It's been great to have live sport here again for BUCS Big Wednesday. Thank you for joining us at home or wherever you are. Hertfordshire University take home the EY Netball Championship here in Nottingham for 2022. Thank you and good night.